nagsasalita po si Congressman Romulo, I cannot help but listen to mga ginagawa po nila sa Kongreso. And I must say na as far as regulations and rules are concerned, and laws are concerned, madami na po tayong ginagawa at madami nang nagawa ang ating Kongreso. Ngunit, ang challenge po na hinaharap natin today is not new laws, is not new regulations. The challenge is how do we implement both the integration of the ASEAN as well as the K-12. As Philippine Trade Ambassador for 9 years, I was involved in the negotiation for all the free trade agreements that we have, and as well as the multilateral or the World Trade Organization. Ang tanong po, bakit po kayo pumapasok sa free trade na hindi tayo preparado? Yung po tanong kanina ng I think one of the schools. Ang sagot po doon, dahil po sa merkado. We need the market in order to be able to create the jobs that is necessary to support a growing and fast-growing population in our country. We, as an objective and as a vision, never looked at the Filipinos working overseas. That is only a pain, a necessity that we are undergoing because we do not have the jobs here. So the challenge is, how do you create the jobs? The answer is, you must prepare our young, intelligent population, and you must, so that we can create the necessary industries and jobs to provide them. In a sense po, ASEAN, our membership in ASEAN, at saka ang ating implementation ng K-12, sabi nga ho nila, ready or not, here I come. The truth of the matter is, whether it's K-12 or ASEAN, this is a work in progress. Let me now start by just giving you what is ASEAN in the first place. Kasi po, we keep on talking ASEAN, but we never really analyze ano po ba yan ASEAN. What is this ASEAN animal that we joined? So let us first talk of this. Okay, next slide please. ASEAN, of course, is composed of 10 countries. The Philippines belongs to the original 6. Original 6 being Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Brunei, and of course, the Philippines. And you can see the other 4, supposedly the less prepared. The Vietnam, the Laos, the Cambodia, and the Myanmar. Unfortunately, today, we have to include Vietnam into the original 6 and become 7 because they have grown faster than some of the members of the original 6. Unfortunately, one of those that they have outgrown is the Philippines. Having said that, let us now go to the next slide, and you will see that the combined population of ASEAN is 608 million. Ito po ang sinasabi kong merkado. This is where there is an opportunity for us to increase our market share. And we have, in fact, over the last 10 years, increased our market share. And we have been able to provide additional jobs because of that. It is also a big country. As a group, we have 2.6 billion in GDP, per capita income of 3,700, an export volume of 1.2 billion. And you will notice that the trade is almost equal. And therefore, in this region, there's a balance of trade, meaning we export as much as we import. So intra-ASEAN trade, 32 billion. This is 2010 numbers po. Ang totoo po na to, when we started negotiating ASEAN in the early years of this decade, the trade between ASEAN was in the vicinity of 6 to 7 billion. So it has grown and continues to grow very fast. Today, ASEAN is our 3rd largest market, following Japan, US, and is now ASEAN. Even bigger than Europe. So that's another concern we can discuss later on. Next slide, please. Pinag-aralan po namin, ano ba talaga ang strength? Saan ba tayo malakas? At saan tayo? you notice that the Philippines, here we have always been fighting and arguing on how to do and how to use the natural resources. Kaya po, if you look at the trade, mining has not been an anchor in our economy. It should be, but it is not, because we have not come out with an acceptable vision for the mining industry. Ibig sabihin po, that we have to first agree as a country, ano po ang ating gagawin sa mina natin? Are we going to exploit them and export our mountains to China? It is because in effect, this is what we are doing. Last 2 years ago, narinig nyo in Cotabato, there was a big fight about open mining. You know, this is really something we also object. In effect po, ang ginagawa natin, if we did not stop it, we would have been exporting our mountains to China. You go to the mining companies in China, and you will see po, bundok-bundok of soil. Ano po yan? Oh, that's Philippine nickel. The truth of the matter is, the whole mountain is only 8% nickel. 92% is the soil that we exported. You may think, well, lupa lang naman yan. But not true. Because the effects to the environment is such that it will really kill our people, the future of our people. So anyway, we have to sort out the problem. We are one of the largest with abundance of natural resources, and we have to decide how we're going to do this. It will properly handled, it will generate jobs, it will generate economic activity for our people. We have very young and growing population. Again, hindi po salita ito. The distinguished dean in this question to the congressman says, you know, about our youth, that we have lack of English proficiency. Sir, let me tell you, in the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, together with SAFE, which is the Semiconductor Industry Association of the Philippines, we have a program that we call Near Hire. Ano po yung sabihin ng Near Hire? You know, in the past, when we started the BPO industry in the year 2004, you know, we were hiring. Madali po, dahil we only had 5,000 population in the BPO. But the BPO industry was growing at almost 30% per year compounded. So it came to a point that in 2004, for every 10 applicants, 3 lang po ang amin nakukuha sa industriya. So what should we do? Or be honest, ano ba problema? Karamihan po ng graduate natin, kulang ho sa English proficiency. But more important than that, kulang po sa technical language na rini-require po ng BPO industry. So we put up a program that we call Near Hire. We are very happy to say that we are able to contribute in this effort. From about 10,000 in 2001, we are now close to 1.1 million people hired in the BPO industry. Yes, it is true there is a social problem, but that now is something else that we have to handle. Kasi po, the BPOs usually work at night, at least in the voice sector of the BPO. But you know, if you look at it, ang growth po ng BPO is not in the voice sector. It is right now in legal transcription, in backdoor accounting, and this po, they're working during the daytime. So there is a contribution. In ASEAN po, it's very funny. If you had a chance to attend ASEAN meetings, makikita po nyo, everybody is very nice. We're all very friendly. We're a very beautiful people here in this region. We're always smiling, we're always polite. And we always say, we in ASEAN have unity. At the end po, after the meeting, as we walk outside, we will say, pero Filipino ako eh. You know? So there is a diversity issue here. But we are able to manage. We are really able to manage. ASEAN, of course, is really, has also weaknesses in the sense that malaki po yung gap, the development gap. You know, you talk about the Philippines, just get out of Region 4, and you will see the difference. Most probably, you will say between Bicol and Batangas, Laguna, or Region 4. I mean, it's So big a difference na halata niyo po. Pumunta ka sa Naga, pumunta ka sa, well, Trece Martires, and you see what are towns, and yet look at the difference. So the gap, because of infrastructure, there is a huge gap. But even that gap is even larger when you talk about ASEAN. You talk about Laos, you talk about Cambodia. You know, it's sad. But you go to these countries, the tallest person siguro is, not that they don't have anybody above 5'3", but the average would be about 5'2", 5'3". I look very, very tall when I go there. Okay, so you will see that there's a big gap even in the development and nutrition of the citizens. That's what we will talk about infrastructure gap. Just with that, you will know now how do you put together these 10 countries where you have a per capita income of, let's say, less than 500 in the case of the Philippines, 8,000 in the case of Singapore. Ang laki po. In the case of Laos, it's less than 100. In the case of Myanmar, I don't even want to mention it. Nakakahiya po. But I'm just saying, how do you put this together? Now, these are weaknesses that we recognize and we accept that we have to do something. We have low education attainment. I will have in my slides later on show you, in fact for us, only 14 out of 100 students that go into primary education schools, grade school, would finally graduate higher education. Only 14. So where are the others? Ano nangyari? Incomplete the achievement of AEC. Kasi po itong AEC, ASEAN Economic Integration. Ano po ibig sabihin niyan? Do we understand? Most probably, only a handful of us, people like me, who was forced to negotiate for the country, or was a member of the team that negotiated for the country, understand. ASEAN integration means that we will, that this whole region is not going to compete with each other. One of our pillars is that we are a region that will complement each other. And this po is the mission in PCCI. We have always been telling our people, huwag kayong matakot. Ang importante po rito, intindihin nyo ano ba ang ginagawa natin. And what are we doing for our SMEs? We are integrating our SMEs into the supply chain of ASEAN. How do we do this? Okay. In December of this year, Toyota will announce that they will stop production of Vios and other smaller cars and will concentrate only on Innova. Why? Because with Innova, by manufacturing Innova here, manufacturing, not assembly, meaning to say we will now have to put, Toyota has to bring in the complementary SMEs, spare parts supplier into the country. Link them up. While we only produce one model, but we are producing Innova for a market of 608 million. We are not going to produce Innova only for a market of 100 million in the Philippines. So you can expect that you can double, triple the production output. Okay? And because of that, we will be more competitive because we will be having a bigger production base. So the vision is important. The weakness of that we have to understand that we are going to complement each other. We're going to send Vios to Indonesia. And I understand the other models of Toyota will also be produced in Thailand. So, and we will now divide the market. But not dividing the market segment. Na ito, sa'yo Thailand, sa'yo Malaysia. It's not like that. But dividing the market by car automobile models. Okay? You will see the ASEAN population. Nakakatakot po. This indicates how fast here will show. The slides are available. You can take it, get it later on from the Secretariat. Next slide, please. Here, unemployment. Unfortunately, because of our very high population growth rate, we are also the highest unemployed. We also have the highest unemployment rate in ASEAN. Now we have 7%. I'm just showing this for information But again, here, why is this so? Alam niyo po, I can talk to you until 11 o'clock tonight. Why it is so? But let me know for us to restructure our economic policies. Next slide. Yes, unemployment, very clear. Philippines, 7%. Look at the others, mababa. However, it depende po kung anong klaseng definition ang ginagamit nila sa unemployed. In some countries, if you work 7 hours a week, you are employed. So, we must give skills. Next. I was checked the study, and this is the study itself. In the Philippines, the higher you go, the less chances of you being employed. Yan logic eh. Sabi nila sa ibang bansa, sa buong mundo sinasabi, the only way out of poverty is education. In the Philippines, we say, you get educated, you won't even get a job. What kind of logic? What's wrong? What makes us believe? So, anyway, World Bank says, the more education, the less employment. And then we say, well, that's why government should increase more education spending. So where is the logic? You're telling them increase more so that they can get more unemployed? Educated unemployed? Or do we now educate them and send them abroad? See, that's why the dean earlier was saying, why are you doing that? Why do you educate our people to go abroad? We are not so educating our people to go abroad. Our people go abroad because they have no jobs here. That's the reality. So there's a skill gap. That is the other thing that we must work on. And this is where the Philippine Chamber of Commerce, last year, I said, we in the Philippine Chamber must put skills training as our top priority. Education, yes, but skills training is the top priority. So, next slide. The Commission on Higher Education again came out with all of these, more than 2.9 million students enrolled, but unfortunately, ito po yung mismatch. See, the students going to business administration and other education. Ito po, education. Here, we have a rule. You cannot teach in primary if you don't have a degree on bachelor and all of that. But the fact is, we have a lot of people going to education. But today, that's not true anymore. Today, kulang po ang enrollee natin sa education. Because for years, mababa po ang sweldo, and we did not give our teachers, our professors, the proper respect. Now, I'm happy to say we are beginning to see better enrollee in education. So this is not altogether true that there's a mismatch. Education should be there. We should continue to encourage our people to go into education. But the fact is, what we need more are, if it's livelihood, if it's career, it is important for us in this knowledge in this knowledge age, to go into engineering and technology, because everything we do today is based on technology. That's why it's laptop, computer, anything you do. You don't know how to use a laptop, you're in big trouble. You cannot communicate. Unfortunately, then, marunong kang gumamit noon, papasok ka sa smartphone, ang ginagawa naman natin, puro chismis, through Viber, through whatever, social network, puro away ang nakikita natin. So that's the downside. But, I don't know, there must be a balance at the end of the day. Next slide. The problem is, teachers do not teach students the skills that employers need. Actually po, as stated, we're not saying that teachers don't know what they're doing. What we're saying is we did not put enough training for the teachers to be able to teach sciences. And that's why I said earlier, imbis na classroom na itayo nyo, ang gawin nyo, ibigyan nyo ng training program yung mga mamuturo. That is where we should have spent the money. Unfortunately, what do? They only do that a month before the academic year starts. It definitely is not enough. Anyway, Congressman Romulo already mentioned that. So, to enhance competitiveness and employability, we need to do skills development. And this is where PCCI has, as Congressman Romulo has said, we entered an agreement with DepEd. And in the PCCI we are committing 100 million for the next 2 years on this program. Ano po ginagawa namin? Philippine government says we will do a mapping of the entire Philippines so that we will know ano skills. Tama po yun. If you do an entire mapping, you will be able to see the skills, but you will not be able to identify where the mismatch are. Where meaning say which province, which region are the mismatch happening. So kami po, we are doing it by region. And what is our biggest commitment and the most difficult thing to do? We are saying that we will now identify in the region the companies that will help us provide the practical training for the skills that are needed. For example po, Region 4, Region 4A happens to have the automotive industry of our country. So what did we do? We told Yasaki Torres to make available one of their training for all automotive spare parts manufacturers. Hindi lang po sa kanila. Okay? And we are working with the DepEd and TESDA to identify the schools that will give the theoretical, the academic portion, so that these training centers that we will put up or have put up will be giving the practical. We also then, after that, issue a certification so that the automotive industry, whether they're Mitsubishi or Volkswagen or whatever, will hire from that pool. So you are guaranteeing that there is a skills available for the sector, for the industry that's available in the region. So as we go along, K-12 education is, as I said, we have no choice but to support. Again, this is something that sana magyari sa atin. Instead of we can criticize, well, but it's there. They already. So what are we doing? We're looking at the gaps. Saan po tayo makakatulong? So as I said, in here, we are working with the University of Santo Tomas. In August of this year, the University of Graduate School, University of Santo Tomas, will put a campus, or will have a campus in McKinley. The campus is the Philippine Chamber of Commerce and Industry offices. We are going to make available for free the facilities, including the energy and whatever they will use. For UST to bring in their professors so that we can give to the members of BCCI, member companies, the ability for them to train or give their staff, those who want to have higher educational attainment, to come in and have an MBA. We will be able to have lower tuition with UST because, again, the facility is free. So these are the kind of things that we're committing to do. Mutual recognition agreement. We have to really concentrate on that. Next slide. You will see that the industry must play a key role. And that's why, what is that key role? We map where are the industries in the country, what are the industries in every region, and then we say we will provide the training, the practicum side in the factory, and we will also we have an agreement with DepEd and CHED that we will be involved in creating the curriculum. Kasi that's the only way to make sure that you close the gap. We're not saying that we're better. It's just that we know what we need. So, government agencies, I've already dealt with that. Next slide, please. So, K-12 education will officially run in June 2016. You know, when I was a member of the Philippine Presidential Commission on Education with Father Nerves Patineo and at that time NEDA Secretary Ronnie Neri, I personally was for a graduated implementation of K-12. Meaning, umpisa natin from kinder, yung kinder going natin grade 1, right? And then do a curriculum for K-12. Let it progress. Don't do it, yung nga sinasabi kanina din, bakit ninyo binigla? No? But then that would mean a delay of 10 years, and they say for 10 years we will not be able to catch up with the standards. So it's better for us, and we recognize this, that we implement K-12, we at least can get some portion of our population, some, again, because as I said, we cannot give effective 11 and 12 education in the rural areas. The facilities are not there, we don't have enough. But at least we will be able to do it in all the urban areas and in some of the rural areas. So at least we are moving towards it, we announce it to the world, so they will now focus on the Philippines, that at least we will have enough trained workforce with proper skills to provide and support their investment. This is the logic behind that. So it's parang we were forced into it, but actually this is also a practical way of looking at it. If you cannot save 100, at least, save 50, save 60, at least you're progressing. So that was the philosophy. So next. Well, it should be with TESDA. We're just saying that where there is no reach, if there is a reach, if TESDA training centers are there, then TESDA said we will adapt to the findings of your mapping or your survey. So that is good. So at least the skills training will be made available, and they're doing the adjustment now. In fact, we are meeting with TESDA almost on a weekly basis. And again, mindset na to po, yung huli, that we're saying reputation. Kasi when we go around the country, pag sinabi namin, yung mga anak nyo, papunta nyo sa vocational, ayaw ko namin, gusto namin maging abogado, maging dentista, maging doktor. Problema po, abogado dito, dasen po. Daming abogado, walang trabaho, ang ginagawa po tuloy, naghahanap ng kaso. Problema po ang lumalabas. Anyway, I hope I'm not criticizing the lawyers, but the fact is, there are too many lawyers, and we should retrain them and let them do more productive work. So today we have these MRAs. We would like to expand this. In the professionals, I am happy to tell you, you can be very proud. You go to Indonesia, you go to Malaysia, you go to Thailand. Filipinos are the ones managing a lot of companies. So, but engineers in Middle East, they are Filipino engineers. Kaya po nakakaroon ng really a very serious brain drain. If you ask the local companies here, they're having a lot of problems. They cannot find the engineers. Because the engineers would rather work in the Middle East. But this is what we have. We want to expand this to other professionals as well. So that is what will make interesting the region of the ASEAN. As we have these MRAs, we are also assuring our people that there will be jobs. Maybe not in the Philippines initially, but in the region. At least malapit po. You're 3 hours away. And that's the beauty of the Philippines. Geographically, we're in the middle of North and Southeast Asia. The disadvantage with the Philippines is the only one outside of the mainland of Southeast Asia. So within Southeast Asia, cross-border movement is very easy between Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia. But for the Philippines, medyo mas mahal po because we're outside. But we're again able to use the Philippines as the bridge for production going from North Asia, Japan, Korea, China to Southeast Asia because we're in the middle. So for a Japanese investors, for example, to want to put up a factory, it only takes 3 hours 45 minutes to come to Manila. It takes them 6.5 hours to go to Bandung in Indonesia. So if we just improve our policies, we will be able to increase our direct foreign investments. So anything else? Next. So here, the commitment between PCCI and DepEd and CHED is that there will be industry academic linkage. This we will make sure. We will also benchmark ourselves with Washington Accord and the APEC Registry. So we will be up to standard. As I said, not 100%. When I propose that we will make a list, we get training skills in TESDA for those particular skills, and we will guarantee the jobs. So Yung po ang aming ginagawa. We try to rationalize with the colleges and universities their programs. So at least now po, in all the years that I've been involved in PCCI, it's only in the last 5 years that I'm able to talk to the academic institutions. Dati po, we don't talk. The schools tell us we know what we are doing, we tell them you don't know. That's all. That's the communication we have. So the result is you have this huge mismatch. Now at least we meet 3 times a year, and we try to evolve the curriculum together. Then education reforms, we also did. Again po, we spent a lot of money, and we said we cannot be champions of all. So let us, saan po tayo may competitive advantage? You always hear this term in economics, competitive advantage. So we said these are the industries that we should focus on. And we're now talking to all the schools, please strengthen and work with us on your curriculum for these sectors of the economy. So here, if you look at the reports that we have identified the number of workers we will need the next 5 years, the type of skills we will need. And so, for example, in electronics, we have safety working with quite a number of schools as well. You don't know that, but it is number 4. That's why it's so important that we have skills in well-being. And that's where TESDA has done, I must tell you, a very good job. It's happening. So, in home furnishing, we are now putting a center in Cebu and Mactan because that's where the furniture industry is located, and also in Pampanga. In business processing, we have identified 5 schools. I will not mention them because I will be accused of advertising them, but there are 5 schools in the Metro Manila area that we work with. Tourism in Batangas, we have already set up our first training center for tourism. Why? Because there are a number of resorts there. So 2 of the resorts are the training center where we teach them housekeeping. So, yung pa ang ginagawa next, well, that's it. So the message I only have is that, are we ready for ASEAN? Are we ready for K-12? Sir, we cannot talk about being ready. But what I can tell you is we're coping with it. It is not the situation of ready or not, here I come. This is a working process. And please do not just ask government to do their part. Government cannot do much except to come out with laws. And in fact, sometimes you say, eto na naman, batas, corruption. But really, the fact is, you need the guidelines, you need, it comes to implementation.